Когда б нетленной и неизменной назло вселенной любовь была, такого плена самозабвенно и вдохновенно душа ждала, но торопливо любви прилив, любовь.
Privyet! I'm Max Klaben, the Assistant Director at Goldman Union Camp Institute. During February 2010, I had the incredible opportunity to travel with Rabbi Ron Klotz to Moscow, Russia, to attend a seminar with a network of Reformed Jewish camps located in the former Soviet Union. Before, during, and after the trip, I took video and photographs so we could document and share our experiences. Here are some clips of an interview I did with Ron 5 days before we left for Moscow.
Well, Max, last summer I sat here in my office during camp and had a talk with Ida Posner. And she mentioned that her parents were very involved in working with the Reformed Jewish community in the former Soviet Union. And so I started asking her questions because I thought that might be an interesting... she told me that they have summer camps there in the Reformed Jewish community. And I thought that might be an interesting connection for us to make for our Tikkun Olam social action program. That maybe we could partner with them or they could become somehow connected to us. And so I started to explore this with Ida. So we're going to be trying to show the excellence in programming, excellence in teaching counselors, and excellence in counseling. It's a very high expectation, and I really have no idea yet who I'm talking to. What I hope to accomplish is, I hope that the things I have to say to them are helpful to them, and I hope that they can use the materials that we're bringing and, kind of translate them into what will work for them in their kind of programming. And I hope to have a human contact as well, which would be nice. And I hope that some will come to us and will come and visit us in the summertime, the beginning of the summer, and see some of this stuff put into action. And maybe we all benefit from the relationship because maybe there's a way for our campers to interact with their campers, our staff members to interact with their staff members. It's very exciting to think that there's a camping movement in the Soviet Union, a reform camping movement. That's what I hope will come out of this week. We'll see.
5 days later, we landed in snowy Moscow, ready to get down to business. Once we grabbed our luggage and got through passport control, we met up with Emma, our guide for the week. She's a 19-year-old madricha from Moscow who's studying to be a translator. We wouldn't have survived a day in Moscow without her. That's her again on the right with Ron. Over the course of the next 2 days, we toured around Moscow, learning and experiencing the history and culture of Russia. We saw the magnificent Moscow metro system. Every metro station is a work of art, with marble floors, chandeliers, and beautiful artwork lining the walls of many of the stations. We went to Red Square, the Kremlin, and saw Lenin's grave, and took pictures in front of St. Basil's Cathedral. One night, Brian Urlacher even made an appearance. We also had the opportunity to see many religious sites. We saw Russian Orthodox churches, and we got to see both the historical Orthodox synagogues in Moscow. They were so beautiful and rich with history from socialist times. By Tuesday, we were anxious to get to work talking about camp. We met at the Center for World Union for Progressive Judaism, with the leadership of the camps, to talk and share our camp knowledge. Here are some clips from our sessions, which focus mostly on staff training and methods and systems of informal education.
We'll talk a little bit about program later, but what I wanted to start with, which the subject that I think is the most important subject in camp, is to talk about the madrichim, talk about the counselors and the counselors work with campers.
One of the most interesting parts of our trip to Moscow was our experience with language. Every time Ron said anything, Emma would translate. We were constantly hearing a mix of Russian, Hebrew, and English.
So we have, as you have, our madrichim have come up through the movement and have been campers, chanichim, before they were madrichim, and they already love camp and they want to be at camp. Our job is to try to open their eyes to the role of the madrich and how important it is. So I believe strongly that the biggest strength that our camps have is the relationship between counselors and campers, madrichim and chanichim, and that people don't necessarily understand that naturally. Our madrichim don't necessarily understand that naturally. That we have to put it into words for them so they can really understand and grow into the role of being a madrich.
Yeah.
We want to get to the point where we can help campers feel good about themselves, which is up here.
We shared programs, ideas, and really started to bond with the coordinators at each of the camps.
The chanich may feel great because they have this information that they got, secret information.
Ханих может себя чувствовать.
I don't know.
Ron made this point consistently clear to the leadership of the camps.
I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just showing you what we do, so maybe you get some ideas from it. You have to do this your way.
After our initial sessions, we learned a lot about the former Soviet Union camping system. We learned that there are camps not only run in Moscow, Russia, but Kiev, Ukraine, and Minsk, Belarus as well. Ideally, each camp has 3 one-week sessions for 3 different age groups: 11 to 13, 14 to 17, and 18 to 24. Even though our camping systems are different, we found a lot of similarities. I got a hold of a camp promotional video from the Moscow camp. Here's a clip from that video.
אם תגלי ששכחת שאת בלי, אל תהי לחוצה, לא יקרה אם את לא רוצה. אם תתעלמי, תהני, תזרמי, שום דבר לא יקרה, אני אברח שנייה לפני.
As you can see, it's camp, but they do face one huge challenge. None of the camps have an actual physical camp they can call their own. Each summer, they stay at hotels and use nearby facilities to run their program. After 2 days of meeting with the leadership from the camps, 45 madrichim arrived from the Moscow, Ukraine, and Belarus camps to participate in the seminar. Just like any camp get-together, we played a lot of icebreakers and games to get the group comfortable with one another. During the seminar with all the madrichim, Ron ran sessions about the Jewish camping movement in America, creativity at camp, and what makes the ideal madrich. Here are some highlights from those sessions.
These are our camps, and I want to tell you that the work that we're doing in these camps is the work that you're doing in your camps. We arrive at the same place, and we'll talk about those goals in a minute. But we arrive there from different directions because we have different opportunities. You have different ones and we have different ones. But the work that you're doing and the work that we're doing is the same work. I don't want anybody, this is camp, you know, this is the machane. I don't want anybody to feel separated. I want to do everything I can to bring my group together. And I have to be careful what I say about my private life in front of my camp.
Of course, Ron brought his banjo to play for the group.
And in the real world, we learn from each other. So I came here, I've been in camp for my whole life. I learned so much this week listening to Rita and the supervisors and then from you all. So everybody can learn from each other, and the second year counselors, the experienced counselors, can certainly learn from the first year counselors.
И очень важно.
Now why did I tell you that story?
Как вы думаете, почему я рассказала эту историю?
Because I think it applies to what we do at camp.
И потому что я думаю, что это показывает то, что мы делаем в лагере.
And I think maybe it applies to what you feel here amongst yourselves.
И потому что я думаю, что здесь вы чувствуете похоже, вы чувствуете то, что...
That what you have together
И то, что вы здесь вместе,
and what you create for your campers
и то, что вы делаете для ваших коньяков,
is the real treasure.
это настоящее сокровище.
And it's so valuable
Это настолько ценно,
that we want to think of every way that we can be together as a Jewish
и вы должны
community.
подумать о каждом моменте и о каждом пути, как мы можем быть вместе.
And we want to think of every way when we're together with our Chanichim, with our campers, to make it special.
In addition to our camp sessions, throughout the seminar we participated in and led services for the group. Here's some shots from the beautiful Friday night Shabbat service. Celebrating Shabbat in a Reform setting in Moscow was one of the most wonderful experiences of our trip. We shared many of the same tunes, but this one in particular was unique and very beautiful. Throughout the seminar, I interviewed the coordinators, madrichim, and even rabbis from Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. This clip from my interview with Igor Zinkov really captured the feeling of the seminar for many of the participants.
Когда я посмотрел видео из вашего лагеря, из того лагеря, который происходит в Америке, я вначале не знал, как на него реагировать. У вас больше возможностей материальных и больше людей. И вначале я не знал, как на это реагировать. То ли опустить руки и сказать, что все, у нас никогда так не будет, либо наоборот взяться и стараться делать как у вас. Это было в первый день. Сейчас я практически уверен, что я хочу сказать вам спасибо за то, что вы все-таки вдохновили, все-таки дали шаг вперед, благодаря тому, что я узнал, как может быть в дальнейшем, да, как может быть у нас когда-то. Я сейчас хочу сделать то же самое у нас.
In my opinion, the trip was a huge success. We shared a lot of information and ideas, and we created a bond between our two Reformed Jewish camping movements that I hope will last. Upon arriving back in the U.S., Ron and I reflected on our trip.
And now that we're back in the States and I'm thinking back on the experience, I really have, of course we did so many things, there's some things even hard to remember, but the last minutes that we spent with all the supervisors, the directors of the program, and the rabbi at a authentic Ukrainian restaurant with waiters in costumes, and we drank a vodka and we ate our dumplings, and then when it was time to say goodbye outside, we all hugged, and we all felt that this was the beginning of a great relationship, and one where we could inspire each other. And so as we went away, we heard the languages that we heard all week. We heard people saying shalom, litraot, and we heard people saying thanks and goodbye, and the last thing we heard was das vidanya.
Радостные минуты наедине с тобой, в берег нетерпеливо бьется морской прибой, снова в плену иллюзий и в океане слов тонут люди, гибнут люди.